Welcome to the Shadow Talks. Without wasting time, let's go to the video.
Have you ever sat alone at night, surrounded by darkness, trusting that locked doors and security cameras are keeping you safe, only to realize they might actually trap you inside? I had been working as a security guard for almost 6 years, long enough to earn seniority and extra training, when my company got a contract for a government office building far away from civilization. I didn't think much of it at first. The place was massive, 6 stories tall, surrounded by a tall metal fence with barbed wire on top, and beyond that, nothing but thick wood stretching for miles. No houses, no streetlights, no nearby buildings, just silence and trees. During the day, it felt boring and lifeless, but at night, especially when you're alone, that silence feels heavy, like something is listening. Because I had seniority, I usually avoided overnight shifts, but staffing problems forced me to work weekend nights alone. At first, nothing happened. The nights were quiet, almost too quiet. Then, one Saturday around 2 in the morning, a violent thunderstorm rolled in. Rain slammed against the windows, and lightning flashed so bright it lit up the trees beyond the fence. Sitting alone in the control room, I tried to stay awake, watching movies on my phone and checking the cameras. When I stood up and looked out the window, a flash of lightning revealed something moving between the trees. A dark figure, fast and unnatural. It didn't move like an animal. It moved like someone who knew where they were going. I told myself it was just my imagination. I was tired. But minutes later, one of the camera feeds went out, the exact area where I saw the figure. When I looked outside, the camera was hanging loose, swinging in the wind. My chest tightened. Then I heard the alert sound from the system, the noise that means someone has entered a secured door using a keypad. Whoever it was had the code. My phone had no signal. The desk phone was dead. When the power suddenly shut off, the building went silent, and that's when fear truly took over. I left the control room and headed for the stairwell, hoping to escape. The hallway was dark, quiet, and felt endless. Then I heard it, heavy footsteps coming from below, slow and steady, climbing the stairs toward me. Whoever it was wasn't rushing, they knew I was there. I froze, gripping my weapon, realizing that training doesn't prepare you for the moment you might actually have to use it. Panic told me to run, and I did, my heart pounding louder than the thunder outside. I ran up the stairs, my equipment clanging against the railing, giving away my position. The footsteps stopped, then suddenly started again, faster this time. I barely stayed ahead, using every ounce of strength I had. When I reached the top floor, I climbed a ladder leading toward the roof, hiding in complete darkness. I could hear the man breathing below, moving through the hallway, searching. Every second felt like an hour, and I was certain that if he found me, it would end badly. Using desperation, I created a distraction, slammed a door, and bolted down the stairs while he chased me. We were both running full speed, echoing footsteps filling the stairwell. I stayed just 1 floor ahead, knowing that if I slipped, it was over. When I reached the lobby, I heard him fall behind me, crashing hard. I didn't stop to look back. Survival was the only thing on my mind. I burst outside into the storm, rain soaking my clothes, wind screaming in my ears. My truck was parked nearby. As I unlocked it, I saw him emerge from the building, dressed in black, face hidden, sprinting straight toward me. I jumped inside and sped away just as he reached the edge of the lot. Only when I reached the main road did my phone regain service, and I immediately called the police. When police searched the building, they found nothing except a loaded, unregistered gun dropped in the stairwell. No fingerprints, no suspect, no explanation. To this day, no one knows why he was there or what he planned to do. And knowing how close I came to never leaving that building still keeps me awake at night. I wish I could say that was the end of it. But that was only the beginning. Because sometimes the scariest encounters don't involve running or escaping. They involve being watched, followed, and never knowing how close danger really is. That night taught me a hard lesson. Security doesn't mean control. Sometimes it just means you're the first one to face whatever is hiding in the dark. I used to work nights as a security guard in a medium-sized corporate office building. Most nights were boring, quiet, and predictable, which is exactly why what happened still stays with me years later. After midnight, the building emptied out completely. The lobby lights stayed on, the cameras hummed softly, and it felt like I was the only person left in the world. My job was simple: watch the monitors, log activity, and do occasional patrols. That night felt no different at first, until something appeared on one of the garage cameras that immediately made my stomach tighten. On the lower parking garage feed, I saw a figure moving between the parked cars. That alone was strange because the garage should have been completely empty at that hour. Only a few employees had after-hours access, and I knew none of them were scheduled to be there. The man wasn't heading toward an exit or a car. He moved slowly, almost carefully, weaving through the rows like he was checking if anyone was watching. He wore a long, dark coat that looked too big for him, and something about the way he moved made my skin crawl. At first, I tried to explain it away. Maybe it was someone who forgot something. Maybe it was a camera glitch. Still, my gut told me something was wrong. I called my supervisor and told him what I was seeing. He told me to stay at my desk and keep watching the cameras. I agreed, but the longer I stared at that screen, the worse the feeling became. Finally, I grabbed my flashlight and decided to check the garage myself, hoping to clear my mind and confirm it was nothing.
The elevator ride down felt longer than usual. Every sound echoed loudly, making my nerves jump. When the doors opened, the garage was silent, cold, and completely empty. I called out, "Security!" but my voice just bounced back at me. I walked through the rows, shining my light between the cars, checking every corner. There was no one there. No movement, no shadows, nothing. I felt foolish for being scared and convinced myself the camera must have been acting up. I went back upstairs and sat down at the desk, ready to forget about it. But the moment I looked at the monitors again, my heart dropped. The man was back on the screen, standing in the exact same spot as before. That was impossible. I had just been down there. There was no way he could have slipped past me without being seen. That's when the fear shifted from confusion to something darker. It felt like he wasn't avoiding the cameras, he was avoiding me. For the next 20 minutes, I watched him move slowly toward the stairwell on the camera feed. He paused often, looking around, almost like he was listening. When he reached the stairwell door, he disappeared from the camera. I checked every other feed immediately, hallways, elevators, entrances, but there was nothing, no sign of him anywhere. That was worse than seeing him, because now he could be anywhere inside the building, and I had no idea where. I stayed glued to my chair, heart pounding, when suddenly the elevator opened in the lobby. No one stepped out, but on the shiny floor, I saw wet footprints leading away from the elevator doors. Bare footprints. That made no sense. It was freezing outside, and no one would walk barefoot through a building like that. I froze, realizing that if he was inside, he wasn't just wandering, he was watching, and he knew I was alone. I called for backup and waited, but something inside me said I needed to patrol. I took the elevator to an upper floor and stepped into the hallway, flashlight shaking slightly in my hand. Every sound felt too loud. Halfway down the hall, I noticed an office door slightly open. That door should have been locked. I pushed it open slowly, scanned the room, and found nothing. But when I stepped back into the hallway, I heard footsteps behind me, heavy, wet footsteps moving fast. I turned just in time to see the end of his dark coat at the far end of the hall. He wasn't running, he was walking fast, like he knew I had nowhere to go. That's when I realized he had been following me the entire time, staying just out of sight, waiting for the right moment. Panic took over. I ran toward the stairwell, hearing his footsteps close behind me, my breath coming in sharp gasps. I slammed the stairwell door behind me and sat there shaking, listening. After a moment, the footsteps stopped. When backup finally arrived, we searched the entire building and found nothing. The cameras showed missing footage, as if the recordings had been erased. I quit that job within a month. Even now, I hate parking garages in empty buildings at night, because every echoing step reminds me of how close he was and how easily he could still be out there, waiting.
This last story happened only a few days ago, and it still feels fresh in my mind. It was my very first night training as a mobile security guard. Unlike regular security work, this job meant driving from site to site, checking properties during the night. I felt nervous but excited, thinking this would be an easy job. My supervisor seemed calm and experienced, showing me how to do patrols and write reports. That feeling of safety didn't last long. Around 1:15 in the morning, we arrived at a medical clinic for a routine check, and the moment we stepped out of the vehicle, something felt very wrong. The underground parking garage gate was wide open, which should never happen. Even worse, the front door of the building looked damaged, like it had been forced open. My supervisor looked confused and said the alarm should have gone off if someone broke in, but there was nothing. No alerts, no warnings, just silence. I stood there, my stomach tight, realizing this wasn't part of training anymore. Someone had been inside the building, and there was no record of it. As we stepped inside, my supervisor suddenly pointed at the elevator. The numbers were lighting up, moving between floors on their own. The elevator stopped at different levels, like someone was riding it. I asked if he thought someone was inside the building, and he nodded without hesitation. That's when the fear really hit me. I could feel my breathing get heavy, my hands shaking. This was my first night, and already I wished I wasn't there. We went up to the top floor together. The elevator doors opened slowly to complete darkness. The lights were off, and the hallway felt cold and empty. My supervisor told me to stay close to him, and I could hear tension in his voice. We turned on the lights and began checking rooms one by one, listening carefully. Every sound echoed, making it feel like someone was just around the corner, holding their breath. Everything seemed clear until we heard footsteps in the stairwell below us. Slow, careful footsteps moving downward. We froze. My supervisor reached for his radio and called dispatch, asking for immediate backup. He warned them that someone was inside the building with us, possibly armed and hiding. Standing there in silence, hearing nothing but our breathing, was one of the most terrifying moments of my life. It felt like whoever was down there was waiting for us to make the first move. Dispatch told us to stay where we were and not approach the suspect. That was easier said than done. My supervisor started to panic, and seeing that only made my fear worse. We couldn't leave through the elevator because whoever was downstairs could block our exit. We were trapped on the upper floor, listening, waiting, imagining every possible way this could go wrong. After what felt like forever, we finally heard another door open downstairs. A voice called out, "Security!" Backup had arrived. Relief washed over me so fast it almost made my legs weak. We slowly made our way downstairs together, checking every corner, every room, every bathroom. The building felt different now, like whatever had been hiding knew it was losing control. Even with backup, we couldn't find anyone. Every floor was clear, no signs of forced entry beyond the doors, no hiding spots left unchecked. Then, while searching the upper floors again, we heard the front door open and fast footsteps running outside. By the time we reached the exit, whoever it was had vanished into the night. We stood there in shock, trying to understand how someone could hide so well and disappear so quickly. Either that person knew the building perfectly, or something else was going on.
I couldn't stop replaying the elevator moving on its own, the footsteps stopping suddenly, the silence that followed. It didn't feel normal. It felt planned.
That night changed how I see security work forever. Whether it was a real intruder or something we couldn't explain, the fear felt the same. This weekend, I'm scheduled to return to that same site, alone. And every time I think about it, I can't help but wonder if whoever was there that night is still watching, waiting, and already knows I'm coming back.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you on next videos. Till then, goodbye.